Today, Hazan and I want to talk about culture, and not so much about culture, but how does culture actually come to be?
Yeah.
And so culture really comes from values.
Values. Yeah. Like, I think I'd like to add something here as well. Like, while founding HSB, we wanted to create an environment that we feel comfortable working with. How we feel most successful, most efficient, most happy.
Yeah, and also a lot of learning from our previous experiences, right? We also kind of knew what we don't want to have, and so we wanted to create an environment not just for ourselves, but for the people that are in our business, to feel this is the place that they belong.
Definitely belonging feeling. And how we did this, we created values with our team. Of course, we had some ideas about our previous life. Then we said that, okay, these are our values, and our team also contributed to them. So in the end, this year actually, we updated them, and it became very simple. What we want in a working environment: trust. Trust is our number one value, and I think it is the core of everything. And
It's a keystone value, right? It transcends everything you do in relationships, in organizations, in families, in every setting out there, right? In countries, in governments, in everything. Trust is the strongest pillar that keeps things alive.
definitely, because you want to rely on who you are working with, who you are talking with, right? Whatever he says, you know that it's trustable. And maybe I will just add something more. We always also start with Udaya 100% trust when we meet with new people.
Yeah, because you don't have trust is something that takes time to build, right? So how do you you can't build relationships if you start from a negative place. You have to start from a neutral place, and that neutral place for us most of the time is that we trust them, that we expect that they are trustable people, and they probably should expect the same from us, and that's where it starts. And then over time, we build that credibility and trust, and hopefully, nothing gets done that breaks that trust.
Definitely. And it creates a reputation for your name, right?
Yeah.
When you are a trustworthy person,
Yeah.
it creates your reputation.
So reputation, so it's really interesting when you went from trust to reputation, because reputation, Warren Buffett, talks about reputation a lot. It takes 25 years to build a reputation. It takes 5 minutes to break it, right?
Definitely.
And so trust, reputation, these are so they're just the yin and the yang, right?
Together.
And then one thing I'll add as a last item on trust is speed of trust. When you have trust in an organization, that organization moves a lot faster than an organization that doesn't have trust. So speed of trust is what we're trying to establish within HSB and in our culture.
It's a great point. So we talk about trust. The second value that we really appreciate a lot is ownership. Especially being a small company, you don't want people who has that over the fence mentality.
Yeah.
They are just doing it just to say that they have done it.
And just to get it over the fence to the other party, and it's like a ping pong match or tennis match, just get the ball across. We want people to kind of start, at the beginning, own it, and carry that ball all the way through to the end.
Yeah.
When it gets transferred to the customer or whatever the
next stage.
end stage is.
Definitely. You don't want, like, and during the process there will be a lot of learnings, right?
Yeah.
Because you need to think about all the aspects of those steps, and all those steps you don't have to know everything. Maybe you may need to learn during that, but you're gonna learn, and it's an experience building.
And it's something that and like how much I love the Obama speech where he talks about he gives advice to young people, really.
Yeah.
And he talks about how the fastest way for someone to be noticed in an organization is to basically say, you know what, I'll take care of that. Because there's so many people can talk about problems, why the problem is so big, why the problem is so difficult to solve, or all the excuses in the world,
all the negativities,
all the negative things around the problem. But the person who says, you know what, I'll take care of that, even when it is a stretch for them, even when they don't really know all the things that it takes to get the job done, but they'll take it and run with it. Because those people, they're going to get noticed very quickly. Not only that, they're going to learn a lot more because they are doing things that they don't really know. And so they're challenging themselves. And whenever you're working at the edge of your comfort zone, you're learning a lot faster than doing all the things you already know.
Yeah. I think it goes also hand to hand with trust as well, right? In our team, I'm looking at it, and people saying that, let me handle that,
Yeah.
like, and they build also trust by doing
Yeah.
what they say
Yeah.
over the time.
And to be honest, we've got a great team.
Oh,
We got more than a handful of people that are like that, and the rest are learning and seeing the others do those things and learning from them. So we feel pretty fortunate from that
It's a
perspective.
gratefulness aspect for us. So we talk about those two, then people. When we talk about people, I know it sounds so broad when you say that people is one of our values. When we talk about people, it means that the team, the customers, the people who we deal with
Yeah.
day to day, and all the stakeholders in the business, in our life actually. I believe when we say people as a value, we mean like satisfying their needs and creating the best environment for them to shine, for them to be successful, for them to be most efficient,
Yeah.
for them to be happy.
So when that applies to like our team, right? Our people. So let's try to find out what is the thing that brings the best in them,
Out of them,
right?
yeah.
So what, is it flexibility? Is it, how they like to work? Is it
Is it autonomy?
Is it the autonomy? Is it in some people, is it like they like, to be given instructions, step by step? Because we need all those different types of people in an organization. So it's like how do you do your best work? How do you feel best at your work environment? How do we get the most out of you? And so try to adapt to that person that those
you want to become.
you
Right,
want to
yeah.
become. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. And then this also applies to customers. So from a customer perspective, what is the customer really want, and what is the outcome that they're trying to have? It's not just trying to solve the immediate issue of, okay, I need this thing done fast, but it's like looking at the bigger picture and saying what is actually really impactful for this customer from a not just a short term but long term. So balancing that is that's important. And then everything else, like other people, the people that are outside of our business, adjacent to our business, indirectly part of our business. One of the things that Hazan and I try to do so much is we try to help engineers, because we know, like we come from this world, and it took us a long time to get to where we are. And if someone can benefit from even an ounce of our little advice, our experiences, and get them faster to the next place, I think that's huge. So those people are part of that people aspect for us.
Yeah,
right?
because it's in the end, it's the industry, it's the professional environment,
it's the society
that we're gonna interact
it's
day
the society
to day.
at large too, right? So how do we make us, in our little way, how do we make a little bit of an impact that changes something for the positive, right? So those are the three things that really matter. And then from a value perspective, and then from a people, we also, and this is probably good for those young the students and the young engineers. I really want you to know that the couple of things that we Hazan and I really appreciate in terms of traits and skills is obviously we want people to become super curious, right? We look for curiosity in people, because a curious person will figure things out.
Yes, they're gonna learn. They will want to grow all the time.
Continue to learn, right?
Because
it's a journey.
Yeah, when you start learning and you just understand how much you don't know, and you're gonna learn more, and it's gonna build up.
Yeah, and then I think it's that lifelong learning approach, right? So I'm constantly learning every day, and I have to say, curiosity is not, is actually, I think fortunately for those people who are not naturally gifted for curiosity, I can say that it is something you can develop, right, over time with discipline, with rigor. You can develop it. I, for one, I don't think I was naturally curious. I mean, I was curious about things that I really
like,
enjoy in a selfish way, but then you start to apply it. So I think I've developed that habit by virtue of just practicing it. So this is a skill that you can develop. We define ownership as a value, but ownership is something obviously we look for in all people. This is such an important character trait that we look for in people. So I won't go into, we shouldn't go into more into ownership. We talked about. So we talked about curiosity, and now the next thing, I think, which is kind of leading in, with curiosity, is
resourcefulness. And I believe curiosity is a prerequisite for the resourcefulness.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be given everything. You need to go and figure out by yourself. I think it is the key in being a successful in personal life and also obviously professional life. You need to understand what you are looking for, and you need to go and dig it
and
to
and
find.
know that at the beginning of taking a responsibility, like what we said, like, let me take care of that attitude. You don't have everything at your fingertips, so you just got to go and find it, and you gotta go talk to the right people. You
Yeah.
gotta dig dig deep into the things that you don't really know at the beginning. So it's just like it's just being resourceful. And this is so, and then this is learnable, right? And this is so important for, it's not something that at the beginning of your career, or at the beginning as you start your career, it's not something you normally would have, but you learn it, you observe it.
Yeah.
And you
It's
figure-
kind of goes with ownership also, right? Like when you own it, you need to be resourceful because not everything is ready to go for you. You need to do more. This is resourcefulness.
all of these things are intertwined at the end of the day, right? I
Definitely.
mean, curiosity, resourcefulness, and we talked about ownership already. So these are super important. But one thing that I think is, I recently wrote a post about this, is, it's a trait, but at the same time, it's not a trait, I believe at least, can be developed, and that is
Hunger. Hunger is one of the most important thing for us, because you can do everything, but if the person doesn't want to do more, doesn't want to grow more, doesn't want to find out more, you cannot make them want it.
Yeah.
It
I
needs
think-
to come from your personality.
it comes from how you've grown up, it comes from your roots, it comes from, I think the world is divided into two groups, the ones with hunger and the ones
Yeah.
without hunger. So hunger is, it's everything to do with achievement orientation. It's
Desire to grow.
desire. Yes, a
I
desire
think
to-
desire to grow. Like I think I find myself always a hungry person, and it has been also told multiple times by different people, because when they see that I want to do more, I want to grow more, and I'm putting that in action.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hunger is one of the
So stay,
important
and
traits.
it's you have to stay hungry, and no matter how much, no matter how much you have, you still gotta remain hungry, because that's where because you avoid complacency, right? Because when you feel like you arrived, or you've done everything and you're now at a good place, that's, I think, when boredom sets in. And boredom, I think, is a huge, huge red flag. When you reach boredom, you got to really think about what to do. And I think, and we talk about this. I mean, I talk to a lot of engineers, more experienced engineers, and in large organizations, they've come to a level of boredom. They've come to stagnate, and so it's not a good place. You need to change it up, and it's important to find the way for your next years.
You need to feel hungry again, right?
Develop that hunger again.
Again.
Yeah. So that's a little quick overview of our values, which ultimately form the culture of what we are trying to establish as a company. And it's really, at the end of the day, all about people.
All about people, and hope you guys find this also helpful for yourself.
And love to get your comments. Share with us how you feel about the things we talked about. And if you disagree with what we have said in here, especially around hunger, love to learn. I'd love to get more different perspectives.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.